All right, this is what it says it is. A time-lapse build of the creature from the Black Lagoon Horizon Vinyl Kit. And let me try this again. There's the kit, yes. This is the first vinyl model kit I have ever done. So these things have always scared the bejeezers out of me. Don't know why. I think it's just because, well, it's a vinyl kit. So I had to do a little bit of researching on the glue and all that good stuff. And the other thing that really kind of scared me about these kits was the amount of painting that is involved to make it look good, or at least close to good. Because that right there, you can put it together perfectly, but you don't do the painting good on it, then wow, you have just got a piece of junk. The glue I have been using right there is I think it's called DevCon, and it is a multi-purpose glue of sorts. Works apparently very well on vinyl. I had no issues with it whatsoever. The fun part for this one was, for me, was to throw that thing in the sink, wash it off, and do all the X-Acto knife trimming of the flash stuff on it. And as you can see there, I'm still doing some touch-up stuff before I put my two pieces together, because I wanted to make sure everything fit right, because, well, that's what counts. The other crazy thing about this particular model is it's not cheap, and it comes with no base. So if you want a base, you do it yourself. There you see me with after my trip to the store for some BBs. Yes, I used a container of BBs in each leg. Not, well, just one container split between the two legs for the weight, so it will stay upright correctly. You've got to put weight in these, apparently. So, yes, I know a lot of building and standing up and letting the glue set. That glue had, I think, a 5-minute work time on it. It sets in about, I don't know, 60 seconds or so, relatively close, and has a 5-minute setup time, and then obviously a longer cure time once it's done. There you go. See me using my makeshift props to stand it up. There it is, finished. And so, once I finished, I then began to do the inspection and do the painting. There is my first base coat of green. Now, I did apply a base coat of primer gray. Apparently I did not put that in there. So once the primer gray was done, then I mixed up some stuff in my airbrush and did a base coat of the green color that I mixed up. I think I used a little bit of grass green. This is all watercolor acrylic. So I used a grass green mixed in with a little antique white to knock it down a little bit. And then after that, break out the brushes, people, because here you go. You get to watch a video of paint drying. So that is a mixture of some kind of green and yellow to make it a kind of a lighter off shade of green. That's what I wanted for the hands and his abdominal scales. I wanted those to kind of like stand out and pop. I just wanted it to be different. I wanted him to be colorful, or to have some color to him, because he is the male of his aquatic species. So my thinking is most male fish are very attractive, whereas when it comes right down to it, the male and females of fish kingdom, well, they tend to be almost exactly the same, except the females tend to be bigger. So, wow, you figure if he is this big, the female version of him must have been really huge. So there I have detailed the head, feet, and the abdominals. And now I'm applying, what am I applying there? Oh, I'm doing the fins. I found this really cool Christmas green. It's kind of a metallic Christmas green color. Last one they had on the shelf at Walmart, so I just snatched it up from this, because I thought, you know, I want the scales on this guy to have a really shiny surface, just like fish scales do. I was going to do it in clear coat gloss anyway, but the Christmas green metallic gives it just a little bit of extra shine. So I'm detailing his dorsal fins along with the fins on the calves of his leg and the forearms with that Christmas green metallic. Wanted those to actually stand out a lot. And after I finish brushing all that in, then I used, I think I just used straight yellow to dry brush over those to get the spines of the fins to just kind of, you know, detail out. This is all new to me because, first of all, brush painting is it can be difficult, so I am not as proficient at it as I probably should be for doing model work. I do a lot of cars and stuff. Like I said, my first final figure, and well, I just had kind of an image in my head, and that was what I was going for, to bring that image into the real world for me. So working through it there. Yes, I did. Hold on, adjusting my thing here. Yep. So once I finished detailing all the fins, then what am I mixing up there? I mixed up some colors to do the gills, the gill detail inside the gills. Now, that is one of the only, not a big gripe, but I mean just a little bit of a peeve, is that the head of this creature model, they did not give you a lot of depth with the gill detail. So if you want that, you've got to just carefully detail that in as best you can. That is some stuff right there that I used for models. It's like a stain or whatever that stuff is called. You can put it in the cracks and it brings out the details of crevices and stuff, because it follows along a line. So I used that to bring out the webbing on his hands and feet, and the abdominal part of his stomach there has some like really cool line action on it. And if you want that to be seen, you've got to use something like that. I could have probably used a dry acrylic paint, but that stuff actually worked better because it's got a real pointy brush, and you could do it. Now, there I am adding the detailing to the scales. Yes, I had to dry brush that whole thing to get that detailing action going. Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. That is not the scales. That is the khaki skeeks. No retakes on this, as you're getting this as I do it. That is the khaki colored I watered that down considerably and then brushed that all over from head to toe so that it went down in between the scale detail. If you want the scales to pop and you want to get it kind of an underlying effect, then that's what you got to do. So that's what I did from head to tail, all the arms and everything. Brushed that on there really good. And then I let it dry for a little while and then took a damp paper towel later on and very, very lightly tried, went over and brushed it to lighten up the scales. Probably didn't have to, but I kind of wanted to. I didn't want it to get like super thick and heavy. That's it. This is all straight up. I did watch a few YouTube videos to try to get, there I am, paper toweling it with the damp towel, to get some ideas of what I was working with. I knew I was going to have to make a base, and I saw a couple of bases online where people have made. They turned out really good. I've only made one ever base for a model that I had done, but that was mostly sand. Now here comes the fun part. Watch this thing transform from what you're seeing there to this. This is non-diluted Christmas fluorescent or Christmas metallic green color. I really liked the overall effect that this gave him, and it was a time-consuming process, but I tell you what, it was worth the effort. Even a friend of mine who was an artist said he was impressed with the way it turned out. And this guy does great art. I wish I could do the kind of art he does, but this is the only kind of art I can sort of do. So I did what I could with it. But I wasn't really sure actually if the transformation process was going to show up that well in the video, but apparently it is showing up pretty darn decent. So I'm really enjoying watching that change over from what he was to what he was going to become. And dry brushing is a tough technique, because if you go too heavy, which I did in a couple of spots, got too big of a rush, you eliminate your underlying detail that makes the scales pop to give him that really, I guess you would call it a natural look to it, a realistic look. That's the crazy thing about it. This is my version, okay? There is nothing else like this online. This is my version of the Creature from the Black Lagoon because, well, what have we got to go on? Basically, not much, seeing as how the movies are in black and white. So there are some areas, if you watch the movie, where he has some kind of maybe some lighter coloration, but I would love to actually have seen what the costume looked like in color. An actual photo of the costume would have been nice. I was not really able to find a good one. So you're looking at my version of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, which looks nothing like the version on the box, which at first I was kind of going to go for, but decided I don't think I will. I won't, he's a creature from the Black Lagoon. I think he just needs to be green. Not solid, same color green all over. Variations, because, like I say, if he's from the fish line of fishes, and fishes are very, very varied in their colorations. They have beautiful colors to him to make him stand out. And I figured this guy's got to look good to attract his mate. What am I doing there? Oh, I'm adding some stain to the head to get the ridges and stuff on his head to pop out, so that you get some good detail going there. And, well, what am I mixing up there? Oh, I'm adding that a little bit lighter shade to the head. Now, at the end of this video, I've got a slew of pictures for some close-up shots, because I know, obviously, in the video, detailing is not going to show up like what you would see. So lots of pictures at the end of him on his stand that I made and put together, and so you can see my finished product of how it turned out. The stand turned out pretty good too, by the way. I went with the red. My friend said he liked his eyes red, and plus, if you look at any of the Creature from the Black Lagoon masks that you can buy, all of them show him with red lips. So my artist friend thought maybe their lips might have been too red, so I went back a little bit later and I toned them down just a tad, because they were really popping there. They were red. So there I'm adding some detailing to the feet area and everything. At some point I have put, I don't think I put the clear coat on him yet. Clear coat gloss to give him the wet look. It's like he just came out of the water. I think I'm doing the eyes. I had to use a toothpick to do the eyes. And even then I did not quite get the eyes as good as I probably could have. I'm adding a little extra detailing, colorations and stuff there along some of the areas of the arm. Oh, I'm using the fluorescent color changing blue that I put on the arms and the legs and part of his throat area. I just love that color. Once I saw that, I'm going like, I got to use this on the creature, because if he's aquatic, yeah, he's going to have some like really cool colors. So, and the smooth parts of his arms and legs area, that just seemed to me like that's a really nice blend for it to be there. So that was what I used that for. And it turned out really nice. Makes him quite unique. I think I'm using, yes, that was, the hands and feet were the last thing that I had on my detailing process to do. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with those. So I decided to go with a little bit darker green for the hands and feet, and then highlighted them with some lighter areas to make the ridges along the hands and the feet, the knuckles areas and stuff like that, to like stand out. You'll see those in at the end with the picture details. They turned out really well. I like the way they turned out. And after I put the clear coat on to seal all my paint down, when you use that clear coat on something like water-based paints, like acrylic, there is a reaction to it. And so the reaction kind of adds to the natural effect of the creature itself, giving him a more, well, I guess you would say, living appearance, to me anyway. It's not something you can plan for. It will just kind of happen. All I know is I knew that if I really didn't get this thing looking decent, I would have really been disappointed, considering, well, this is the only vinyl kit that I have like this. and I've had it for years. And so I finally just decided to get brave enough to do it. Just, to take it out of the box and read the instructions and just go for the crapola and start painting it. Obviously, what you're looking at here is the work of, well, almost 3 weeks to get to where I'm at here, which is, we're getting close to almost to the end. We're getting close to the end. Trust me, we are. Because I'm finishing up some detailing on the hands. And then once I get that done, I had to figure out my base. I had to do some research for some stalagmites for the cave. Because I did like this one guy's base where he was in the cave whenever they confronted him right there at the end of the movie. One guy did a nice base where it was kind of more of a swamp-looking setting. And I just, after spending as much time as I spent on him to make him look cool, I wanted a base that I could kind of put together and not take a whole lot of time to do. I'm adding those finishing popping effects for the areas on him to stand out once I put the clear coat on. And just at some point you just have to figure out where to stop at. You can always overpaint. There we go. I'm doing the base. The base took no time at all to build. I just had to find the right material, which was some air dry clay, and I had already pre-cut, from what you probably couldn't see it at the beginning, was I've already pre-cut a base out of I think it was about 3/16 of an inch of plastic, styrene plastic. So I just slapped that clay on that thing, and well, I learned a few things on that. That rock is actually from up on the mountain where I live, so that's a real rock. I learned a few things on the clay part as well. This is the kind of clay that does shrink, so I should have taken more molding precautions around the edges of the styrene, because after I finished it and it was sitting in here in the living room drying, I started hearing pieces fall off from around the edge as it was shrinking up, and the styrene was causing it to crack off. I put his footprints on there so I would know exactly where he was going to stand. And molding those two pieces in was very good. Handling it at this point, I had to be extremely careful because obviously it's still wet, and I did not. It was sticking to the styrene just because of the fact that it was wet. So after I let it dry, which took about a day and a half, I took it out, put my clear coat, or not clear coat, the primer gray on it, sprayed that down good. And also at this point, I used the DevCon to glue that to the styrene base, and I glued the rock to the clay itself. Now the rock was holding just barely, but the clay with the DevCon to the polyurethane base, it actually adhered very well, much better than I thought it would, all things considered. But it did stick and hang on. And so then it was just a matter of detailing the base out. I could have probably used my airbrush, but actually I couldn't because it's been raining when I started this little project today. So that was out. So it was all going to be brush, and I do not have an inside airbrush thing. I need to make one of those. I really do. They come in handy so that you can do airbrushing inside when it's crappy weather outside. But I'm pretty quick with the brush on that. Also, I diluted it down a little bit with some water to make it quick to spread. And I gave it a little bit of drying time and then added some of the brown. Yes. base turned out pretty good, I think. I'm happy with it. Oh, there's a puppy in the background. I did that research on the stalagmites as I was looking at some different pictures and stuff. I found that there was a cave state park down in Florida, just over the Alabama border. So they have camping and everything. I'm going to have to go down there and check that out. It's pretty cool. One of the things I don't think it showed up in the video very well was I actually used that rock to put the detailing in the clay for the ground effect. Just kind of rolled it around and mashed it and pushed, and well, that's actually real rock detailing on that clay. I left the kind of the areas where the footprints were going to go kind of open so I would know where to stand him up at. So once I finished all that, added the blue to the thing, and here we are into the pictures. There's my base coat detailing on the fins, the hands starting out. These pictures are going to go by pretty quick, so if you got to go back and redo some of them to look at them again, that's fine by me. I don't care. But here we go, and almost to the end of all those pictures. I did a lot of pictures, sent a lot of these pictures to my artist friend so he could check out the painting as I was actually progressing along. So, hey, if you watch this from beginning to end, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I hope this was semi-helpful to you. If you're going to do a vinyl kit, don't be scared. Just get out there, do it. Do a little bit of research before you do it, and make it happen. That's all I can say. You won't know till you give it a try. So, I hope y'all enjoyed my vinyl build of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Yes, still going through a lot of pictures. So, lots of detailing. Wow, I had a lot more pictures than I thought. There's the base, so that means I'm getting near the end of the pictures. So, y'all have a great day, and if you do one yourself, post some pictures so I can see what your build is, and send me a link so I can check it out. Not a lot of these out there, but there are a few.